So, hey guys, super excited about this client interview today. I want to welcome Kristal Palmer. And hey Kristal. So, welcome to BNB Leaders. I just want to talk to you about like your experience and your background and kind of like what you're looking to take, from this mentorship and as we scale your business over this next year. So, if you could start with, just a little bit introduction on who you are and your background, and then we'll kind of get into your experience in real estate and where you want to take this thing to.
Absolutely. So hello, everyone. My name is Kristal Palmer. I'll just give you a little bit of background. I'm from Houston, Texas. I currently reside in the DFW area. The purpose of me being in DFW was due to I was promoted after being with a company for 14 years, and I moved on up to leadership, and I came out here to really change up things on the state and local side. However, in 2023, I was abruptly informed that I will be going through a layoff. I say abruptly, but when you're in leadership, you do know when a layoff is coming your way. However, I didn't think that layoff would have my name on it, but it did. And during that time of layoff, I used that moment to truly sit in the place where I call rest. And I really thought through some things that was going to be important for me as I go into my next. I did land an amazing job, and I landed it in time. However, during that cycle, I realized that it was important for me to create multiple streams of income. I just did not know what that looked like because I have always worked for a company and made a company billions of dollars, but I knew that my brand had to be more signified for Kristal. And so one of the things I did write down was I wanted to understand real estate. I actually went to real estate school, went through all the classes. And at this current day, I'm now like, let's get focused because I'm back inside of corporate America, making them tons of money in the federal space. And I need to now focus on, let's go take the exam, et cetera. However, in conversation with the mentor and friend, he shared with me, you always don't have to have a real estate license in order to sell real estate. And so I thought about some things and I said, what are some other ways that I can get into real estate? And being one of the investments was going to be the development, real estate development itself. But I know that takes a lot, especially trying to find contractors, GCs, and subs to help you really grow. A second one was going to be where I am today, sitting with Joshua and finding ways to expand from an investment, but I guess I would call myself a third party. I guess I don't know how to say that. And then the third one was really finding ways to just brand myself based off of visions and ideas that I would have. So that's a little bit about myself and why I'm here. And I'm strongly hoping to grow and gain and myself in a different capacity.
No, that's awesome. I love it. Just to kind of hear your story, and I'm sure it's going to inspire so many people that have kind of gone through like a similar situation. And you actually do have experience in real estate, so I wanted to touch on that because you own a few houses, right? You own
Yes,
in I think Houston, Texas, and McKinney, Texas. So I guess tell us about that experience because I think that's more on a long-term tenant basis as opposed to like luxury vacation rentals and short-term rentals. So
yes.
And kind of tell us a bit about your experience there with the.
So I have currently been renting out my place in Houston for the past 4 years. It's been a success. It has its ups and downs with the tenants. However, I'm in a great location. One of the things that I did when I did invest in just allowing that to be an investment property, biggest things I did was ensure that I got a property manager. Because I knew I could not manage that, just being as busy as I was and traveling around the world trying to manage another company. I knew I didn't have the capacity of time. And just like I said before, I didn't have contractors. However, what I did, one of the things I always said was, it's always great to have a mortgage that someone else is paying for. so that's where I'm currently at today. It's going well. I am making a small profit off of it. I'm in the heart of city of Houston. They call it East End downtown. I'm literally by Memorial Park, Galleria, downtown Houston, and let me make sure I get it right. I didn't completely went dark. The Houston Astros ballpark. I'm like, I didn't crazy. Like that's my city. I'm like, I didn't crazy. And then also, in addition, I do have a place. I do have a home in McKinney, Texas. Beautiful, gorgeous, great schools. I will say this. Let me share this one piece because it's so important. But each of my homes that I have purchased, I found them on my own. So when you talk about the real estate side of it, I actually found them on my own, and then I got a realtor involved just to help me go through the paperwork so that I can understand it. But I did the work. I have this method that I created on my own to help me find the location and the geographics. And I will say that both of my places are really great locations within the McKinney area. I know that whether I'm renting out or resale value, I'm in a great school district. It's very gorgeous. So I know that someone will come in and I can make some good money off of it as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I love the fact that you created your own method and just did your own groundwork and things like that. I have another friend that did that, and they had the realtor come in and just sign the paperwork and that was it. But it's important to be involved, you know what I mean? And especially as we move into like the hospitality business and, you know, understanding your client's needs and understanding your guest avatar and your property avatar, you know, and as far as like what those travelers are looking for, I think that provides a lot of like value that you're, you know, boots on the ground, you know, in a sense,
Yeah.
and that, you know, have that experience.
And it's good for like building relationships, understanding how to strongly negotiate. I grew up in sales. So I've been in sales since I was 19 years old. So going from lower level sales to high level sales to building the team to go out and strive for sales and bringing in revenue at 50 million, like you really truly understand the depth of what it looks like to grow a relationship through collaboration, listening, and just making sure that, you know, you are getting the best value. And so even when I negotiated both of my homes, I know that like the market salesperson, they didn't understand like who is this person without the credentials, but they knew that, you know, well, she's done her homework. So that's where the respect came in.
Right. No, that's awesome. I love it. Love it. Cool. So I guess now moving into, you know, the short-term rental and the vacation rental market, what are some of the goals that you have, you know, set for yourself over the next year? Starting like how far do you want to take it?
This is a great question. Oh my gosh. So if I can think through and say in the next 1 to 5 years, my goal is to start off with 3. And I don't want to be risk averse. I know, Joshua, you and I had talked personally multiple times. But I really want to start off at 3. I want to be globally sound. I don't want to be just in just one city that I know of or that I'm passionate about. I really want to understand it from a geographic standpoint. Like where are I would call them hoppers, or, you know, those who love the vacation. I don't know the better word for it, you know, but where are those who really just like to get away and enjoy places. So would love to start off with 3 to really get my feet wet, learn the business. I do have a passion for more luxury design and more high end. And I also want to be able to gift those clients. Like whenever they arrive, I want to be able to gift them with, you know, like you are getting away. So I want you to understand and really enjoy the fact that you are getting away and you're getting more bangs for your bucks, because what does that mean? They're going to go talk about this amazing place that they stayed in, and how, you know, it was just so different, what the hospitality was like. I want a pure Disney experience. There was a book I read that's called Be My Guest, and Be My Guest is so important. That means that it doesn't matter how many times you visit, every time you go, it will be a different experience. So that's my goal, is to start off with 3 and then just to continue on and grow. I would love to see myself strive to have over 100 across the country. And from a revenue perspective, I mean, you already know the first question I asked you. I remember when I texted you and I said, hey, I have a business question for you. And when I asked you, and you was like, is that business or personal? I'm like, it's business. And so, you know, my goal is to be one of the first multimillionaires. I share with you all that, you know, I've made companies wholeheartedly, probably just under $1 billion. And you being in sales, I've learned your history as well, to know that, you know, you wake up every day just trying to hit the 30-day quota. That's really a 22-day quota, because you only get 22 real days within the month to hit the goal. But to know that you're only going to get, you know, only 2%, and most sales companies have a windfall. So they'll stop you from making the money that you really could be making so they can put it in their own investment. So.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, the commissions on some of those deals are crazy. You know what I mean? So, but I think that with this space, I think you're gonna love it. I just think you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna do super well. I've talked to a mutual friend that actually referred you to me and to our company. I think that with you being able to apply like your corporate background to scaling a luxury hospitality brand, I think sky's the limit there. So we'll start with 3, get it up to like the 20K a month mark as far as like gross revenue. And then from there, just keep scaling, just keep adding properties every quarter, every 6 months. And then, I think it'll be great. And then to look at some of those international markets too, right? So you got London, you got Hawaii. Hawaii is some of the best, some of the best markets on like AirDNA. And there's just some other places too. There's some gyms, you know what I mean? There's places that you wouldn't think they do very well. So it's really cool to to see and bid out a roadmap and on how to get you.
I love that. And you mentioned places that I've even had a desire to travel to, and I really haven't made time to get to those places. And one of the biggest things that I just want to gain from this is to just totally have autonomy, to be able to freely go out and do the things that I really, really love doing. My mom isn't here anymore, but I do have an amazing family, and they know I love to travel, but I know that I cannot do that the way I would love to do it, like spend 7 days. I think that's enough for someone to be traveling, but to at least spend 7 days just traveling and seeing the world and getting to know different parts of the country. That's what I would really love to do and enjoy doing. And I know that I can do that once I begin to create my own stream of income.
Yeah, the freedom factor. That's it. Time freedom, location freedom, income freedom. So we're all striving for there. So
I love that. And then I'll say this one thing. I've met a few of the folks that you have put me in front of who are just absolutely amazing. And all the questions that they ask me. And that I'm currently making time to totally invest in myself across the board as 2025 is here. And one of the key things that I said is, for 2025, I'm not just going to make this another year. I'm going to make this the year. And there's going to be key things that I strongly have to put in place, that this is not mine. This is from a coach and teacher that I'm now listening to. But she says that, the goal should be to make money, manage money, and multiply money. And so those are the 3 philosophies that I'm following behind as I walk into this. It's just as you stated, I'm moving with 3 to focus on making the money. Now I got to manage the money and grow it so I can multiply the money and get to the 20,000s to, 100,000s, making it and ensuring that it's multiplying as well as the actual properties themselves. So I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. So make the money, manage the money, multiply the money.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna take notes of that. So yeah, I mean that's what it is, and I think we'll be able to get you there pretty quick. So quicker than you think. So
thank you.
Excited to have you in, and then I guess let me ask you one last thing. What made you pull the trigger with me specifically and B&B leaders and kind of our community?
That is a very great question. I think that's one of the best questions you asked me. Because one, you already knew meeting me. Just to share with everyone, I am a single woman. Yes, I have really received so much gratitude and grace from everything that I have accomplished. But when someone's sitting in front of me and says, hey, this is how much it's going to cost, this is what you're going to gain, etc., you just don't know in this day and age. You really do not know. You don't know if something's going to happen. But I ended up meeting someone who knows Joshua. And in my conversation with him, because I'm someone who gets to know people when they come in my space, and I could just tell, like, who is this guy? And we was just talking about so much. And because I have had an opportunity to work with him, his business practices is ethical, honest, and truth. And so I stand behind people who walk with integrity. So the purpose I really moved forward with you, because I could feel it in your heart. I was like, he's a man of integrity, and he does what he say, and he say what he does. And so that's why I decided to move forward and work with you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do not do that.
Yeah, pride myself on that. Yeah, operating with integrity, just showing up literally every day on time. We're literally here on time every day. That's even a key thing. There's so many there's people that show up late.
I was 2 minutes late.
No, you're good. Cool. Well, all right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your kind words and your story, your background, and your goals. And then let's kick it off.